nightmares. When you think about nightmares, what's the first thing that comes to mind? A dream, a horrible dream, right? One that causes acute anxiety and dread, even after you wake up. That's certainly one kind. There's also a waking nightmare. That's the kind that you actually live through while it's happening and can cause you to have haunted thoughts for life in some cases. And we can tell you about a waking nightmare that occurred not far from here, back in 1891. The site was East Thompson, Connecticut, the railroad station there.
The trouble started on the morning of December 4th. A railway dispatcher in Putnam, Connecticut faced a quandary. He had 3 trains needing to use the local eastbound track toward Boston. The first was the slow 212 freight. Scheduled to depart after the 212 were 2 faster trains bound for Boston, the Long Island Eastern States Express and the Norwich Steamboat Express.
Typically, in that era of intense competition among railroads, the focus was on getting passengers to their destinations as quickly as possible. Passengers were the priority. And on the morning of December 4th, that meant finding a way to get those 2 passenger trains around the lumbering freight. Now, the Putnam dispatcher opted to temporarily allow the 212 freight to proceed east on the westbound track while the 2 passenger trains went past. And at that point, the freight would switch back to the eastbound tracks. But no one thought to tell the crew at the East Thompson station, and that was a critical omission. It set the stage for a catastrophe.
The crew at East Thompson were focused on the westbound track, coupling cars for the Southbridge freight, but to their horror, at 6:40 a.m., the 212 suddenly burst through the fog around the bend and slammed into the engine of the Southbridge. The crash destroyed both engines, but miraculously no one died. Nevertheless, a dangerous situation was created. One of the jackknife rail cars came to rest on the eastbound track. It wasn't long before the nightmare got much worse.
Within minutes, the eastbound Long Island came barreling around that bend at 50 miles an hour and slammed into the jackknifed rail car. The engine from the Long Island spun violently off the track and flew over an embankment and crashed through a telegraph facility, killing engineer Harry Tabor and fireman Jeremiah Fitzgerald. There, amid the chaos and wreckage of twisted metal and cries of the injured, the rail crew and the survivors tried to grapple with the unimaginable scene that was developing around them.
Suddenly, they realized the Norwich was also due. It would come through any minute. A flagman was sent running down the track to warn the oncoming Norwich train, but it was too late. At 6:45 a.m., it rammed the back of the Long Island, setting it ablaze. Hundreds were hurt, some grievously, and 500 yards of track were torn up in just a few horrific moments. Every able-bodied man worked desperately in the sudden chaos of the smoke, steam, and contorted rail cars to extract the injured from the wreckage.
The people who lived through this nightmare not only endured it as it happened, but undoubtedly had nightmares about it throughout their lives. Authorities eventually razed the East Thompson facility altogether, leaving it only as a nature trail. It remains today the site of the only 4-train accident in U.S. history.
Thank you for coming tonight, Mary.
I am Dr. Soper. I received my medical degree in 1895 and my doctorate in epidemiology in 1899. I'm a sanitation engineer and an epidemiologist for the great city of New York. My focus is on public health and disease prevention here in the city. Asymptomatic. A condition wherein a patient produces or shows no symptoms of an infection, but nevertheless may be a carrier of it, potentially transmitting it to others. Typhoid has been around seemingly forever. It's believed to have caused the Great Plague of ancient Athens, which killed over 100,000 Greeks, 1/4 of their population. Now, following a 3-week incubation period, typhoid patients experience the following symptoms. In the first week, fever, chills, relentless nausea and vomiting, diarrhea and sweats. By the second week, we see stomach pain, profound weakness, headaches, and rash. In the third, patients present with coughing, severe muscle aches, and blood clots. Thereafter, the patient either recovers or dies. We're currently experiencing a major outbreak of typhoid in this country. We believe it's caused by poor sanitation conditions, primarily found in areas inhabited by the poor. Therefore, we think of it as the poor people's disease. Recently, however, we have seen several cases among wealthy families. How do we explain this? We have isolated one Mary Malone. Between 1900 and 1907, Mary worked in 8 well-to-do families' homes in the New York City area, 7 of which had members who then contracted typhoid. In all, Mary is believed to have infected 122 people, causing 3 confirmed deaths and as many as 50 estimated deaths. I and many of my colleagues believe that Mary is a carrier of typhoid and must be isolated from the general population. Newspapers have dubbed her Typhoid Mary. I'll ask you all to please step into the following ward, but please maintain a careful distance from Miss Malone. She can be quite volatile.
In Ireland, they say, go to America, land of the free, land of opportunity. So, when I get here, I get a good job as a cook, working for a rich family. They can afford expensive meats and fine ingredients, glorious desserts. Then the wee ones fell ill, so I moved on. The same thing happens at the next house. And then again at another. That one. A fancy kitchen with copper pots and all. But each time, the family ends up sick as dogs, but not me. Nary a sniffle. But then one day, this fella shows up, wagging his finger at me, saying I'm the one that's spreading the typhoid. Can you believe it? Well, I chase him off with a meat cleaver, I do. You're crazy. I'm not sick. I'm not sick. And then I get arrested and brought to a hospital when I refuse all the tests, but they take my blood anyway. They make me urinate and shite in a pot like some kind of animal. For testing, they say. It's awful. And then they isolate me. When I get out, because I got out, they say no more working as a cook. And they get me a job in the laundry. But Jesus, the money is shite. I need more to get by. So I get myself a good job in the hospital as a cook under a different name. And bam! Arrested again and thrown into isolation for the rest of my life. Why? I've done nothing wrong. They say I'm asymptomatic. What the hell is that? I've done nothing wrong.
I'm afraid you're all going to have to leave.
I've not made
The patient's
anyone
becoming
sick.
entirely too agitated.
I'm going to show them.
Please hurry. She has been known to spit.
I'm going to show them. I'll show them. I'll show you!
Orphan trains transported more than 200,000 orphaned, abandoned, and homeless children in America between 1854 and 1929. Most were children born to immigrants who flooded into America landing in New York City to find a better life. This is their story. Jobs were scarce, and many immigrants found themselves unable to work and feed their children. Women died during childbirth, leaving children without care. Many women had illegitimate children they could not provide for. Husbands died, leaving behind widows with large families. Widows were forced to give up many or all their children to survive. Some parents were addicted to alcohol or committed crimes and wound up in prison.
Most orphanages in New York City were created to care for the destitute children left in the wake of these misfortunes. By 1850, New York State had 27 orphanages run by public and private funds, but the problem of orphaned or abandoned children roaming the streets begging for food was too great. The orphanages were overwhelmed. In response to these dire conditions, Charles Loring Brace of Hartford, Connecticut, founded the Children's Aid Society in 1854. It called for transporting some of these children to selected towns in the South or out West on trains, which became known as orphan trains.
Children were given a new set of clothes and a train ticket for their journey. Other charities also followed the Children's Aid Society's example, using orphan trains to relocate homeless children. Mr. Brace believed that hard work, education, and firm but compassionate child rearing, along with Christian family values, were the only way to save these children from a desperate life.
The children, many of whom had already experienced great trauma in their short lives, had no idea where they were going. The train would pull into a station, with the kids taken off and put out for display. Townspeople assembled to inspect them, often scrutinizing teeth, eyes, and limbs to determine if a child was sturdy enough for field work or better suited for cooking or cleaning.
See your hands. Turn around. Turn around. Show me your hands.
Babies and healthy older boys were typically chosen first.
You
Older
come with
girls
me.
were chosen last, exposing them to the
You come with
terrifying
me.
fates
No,
of young.
no, please.
Let's go.
I don't want to go. Let's
Please,
go.
no.
Come on.
No,
You
please.
come too. Come with me. Come on. Let's go.
If a child wasn't chosen, they would get back on the train to try again in the next town.
Some children were welcomed by new families and adopted. Others were beaten, mistreated, taunted, or ignored. Typically, after a brief trial period, the chosen children became indentured to their host families. They lost any sense of their cultural identities and backgrounds. Siblings were often separated and contact between them was discouraged. City children were often expected to perform hard farm labor for which they were physically and mentally ill-equipped. Many were teased for their strange accents. Some barely spoke English. Jealousy and competition in the new families created rifts. And many children ended up feeling they didn't belong anywhere. For these children, the orphan train experience was a nightmare. Some drifted from home to find someone who wanted them. Many ran away and were never heard from. The Children's Aid Society did try to keep track of these children, but the reality of great distances and spotty record keeping made this difficult.
In all, the record of Mr. Brace's bold venture is mixed. There were notable successes and some dreadful failures. We must ask ourselves, did we do right by these children?
Ah,
Grand Prairie, the city of light. And you, my friends, have found yourselves in the shadow of the red light district. Enter and be damned. You have wandered through the jaws of Leviathan herself, down into the infernal womb of Montmartre's most delicious damnation, Cabaret de l'Enfer, Hell's Cafe. It is 1892, and I am your host, Mephisto. Thank you. Isn't it just devilishly delightful in here? A cafe made from a man so twisted, he made hell into a business model. Where others built churches, I built a demon club in the afterlife. And right next door, Cabaret de l'Ancien, Cabaret of Heaven. Chardonnay and chastity belts? Ew, boring. In here, my darlings, we drink fire and make love with our sins still dripping from our mouths. Tell me, sweet flame, what is your favorite sin?
Would you like to know?
Don't whisper. The walls have ears and teeth.
I speak for the ghosts of Montmartre. I play for the Prince of Darkness. Let the music of my instrument and words enter your soul. Dream of me. Beneath the surface, darkness arrives, a devil's dance where evil thrives. In the shadows he awaits, tempting souls with wicked baits. With fiery eyes and a heart of coal, the devil comes to claim his toll. Whispers of darkness, the devil's song, seducing minds, corrupting strong. From the depths of darkness he arises, testing humanity's strength, truth or lies.
Lucy. Ah, absent. My little green hallucination. Don't get too close, mi chérie. She'll wrap your heart in lace and stab it with a poem.
Who ordered the seething bumpers of molten sins with a dash of brimstone intensifier? Glad to see someone did. Regardless, everyone's drinking tonight. And yes, tips are mandatory. Pay a coin, secrets, or souls.
I prefer the souls.
It's your choice, really. I was a hostess in Babylon, and I've been a waitress since Rome was young. I once served absinthe to Oscar Wilde and told him, "There's a special place in hell for boys like you." He asked for seconds.
Let's play a little game. How about your fortune being told? Pick a card. The Magician. Your words twist truth. Your hands craft masks. You are your own deceiver. You possess great potential, but you've sold it for tricks and illusions. What you manifest will not be from within. Pick a card. Not that one. Love. Your fate unfolds like a wilted rose. You find love, deep love, buried 6 feet under. Oh, but don't worry, it's mutual.
I see Mary is giving you time.
You both go together. So romantic. Ah, you did well in the devil's playground. Tonight, you're ours. So, dance if you dare, drink if you must. But remember this, once you enter through her mouth, you never really leave. You carry along fair with you, like a perfume, like a bruise, like a kiss that burns. So drink, sin, and tip Lucy, or she'll eat your soul. And if you see absinthe in your dreams, make sure you write down the poem before your next sleep, or you may never wake. Passez une bonne nuit, mi chérie, until we meet again.
Tiptoe through the window, by the window. That is where I'll become tiptoe through the tulips.
Let me see who that is. Oh, hello. I'm so glad that you have come. Thank you very much for coming. Do come in and find a seat in the parlor. Hello, how's Rebecca? Is she well? So nice of you to make the trip. Thank you all for coming. My sister and I so appreciate it that you've come to pay your respects. Our poor mother is bedridden with her grief. She won't be here to greet you. We only hope that she's not getting the fever.
When Father died, it was 8:37, and we stopped the clock immediately. It was the yellow fever. Father worked so hard to establish the New York dispensary for the infirm, and when the yellow fever came, he proclaimed it to be a murderer of our own making due to the filth in the streets and the harbor.
Well, it was about 2 weeks ago when they discovered that some of the Irish on the ship were sick. So they brought them ashore and they built a tent village so that they could be isolated from everybody else. Father tended them the best he could, but unfortunately he caught it. We nursed him, but he didn't make it. So we, well, this is awful, and he will be so missed by his friends, and of course the family is all devastated, and his patients. He's such a beloved doctor and surgeon that this is just a terrible turn. I'm thinking that I'm probably immune by now, and I'll know for sure in a couple of days. Dear, have you had the fever? Oh, I sure hope you don't get it by coming here today.
The family has had these silver rings made for each of you as a mourning gift. Father never would have approved of such extravagance, but we thought it was only appropriate to show our appreciation for your having made the long trip here by horse or by train. Because you've all come to join us, we won't have to hire any mourner mutes to help with the burial.
As you can see, we have properly covered the mirrors and the portraits with black cloth. We wouldn't want anybody to look upon them and have the soul of the dead inhabit the soul of the living. We want his soul to leave, but not like that.
One thing on a brighter note is we've enjoyed all these lovely flowers. It's made the room smell so much better, made it quite bearable. I have some flowers. Mother wanted me to give them out to the cousins. Now aren't you a cousin, one of my mother's cousins? Yes, there you go, dear. Thank you so much for coming.
We had hoped to have an artist come and paint Father's post-mortem portrait, but it doesn't look like he'll make it in time. So instead, we've taken locks of his hair and put it into our lockets, mourning jewelry that we can wear close to our hearts to remember him by.
We have kept this vigil awake for 3 days and 3 nights. And I don't think he's going to wake up. I truly think that he has passed into the next world. But his nightmare was that he was always worried, afraid of being buried alive. Tapophobia, they call it. He was afraid of being buried alive. And he had told us this story about Uncle Obadiah. Obadiah was dead, or so they thought. And they carried his coffin down to the cemetery. And they had dug the hole and lowered his coffin into the hole. And the mutes were starting to shovel dirt on top. And one of the mourners heard screaming. Well, what is that? And so they took the lid off and they discovered that he had awakened from a stupor. Well, wasn't he so lucky to be saved? I wonder how many others have not been so fortunate.
Elizabeth, I do think it's
Yes,
time
dear.
that we go tend to Mother. She's in a very fragile state these days. We must also begin preparing ourselves for the funeral. We've saved our best mourning gowns for the funeral, and in honor of Father, we'll be wearing mourning clothes for the next 6 months. For those of you who will be helping to carry the coffin out to the wagon, please remember, for his soul to leave the house, he must go feet first. But Elizabeth and I will be here to guide you.
Right, yes. Well, thank you again for coming. It means a lot. We really appreciate it. And if you're going to join us for the funeral, the burial, we'll be leaving at sundown for the walk to St. Margaret's Church. Thank you. I'll show you out now.
If we were to imagine things of nightmares, there would be entities or objects that embody unsettling, fearful, and chaotic imagery. Shadowy figures that chase you through twisted landscapes with no clear path. Grotesque creatures with sharp teeth or claws that change shape. Unsettling whispers and sounds from nowhere. Complete darkness. Anything that gives the sense of dread or unease within a dream or dreamlike state. Have you ever experienced a mirror that reflects distorted visions of yourself or in which you see others? A clock that ticks forever or backwards or stuck on a haunted time. An ordinary room that slowly transforms into a nightmarish environment with a door that leads to seemingly endless twisted corridors with no exit. Maybe as a child you have been afraid or even had nightmares of your closet. But what if the closet contained something else? Please follow me.
love with you. Let me hear you whisper that you love me too. Keep your love light shining in your eyes so blue. Let me call you sweetheart. I'm in love with you.
I know you didn't want me to be like all other males, Mother. You reminded me every night that all human thought and deed is infected with sin and sinful motives. And all humanity deserves eternal damnation in hell through your Lutheran Bible passages. I know of the sins and evils of drinking, and I don't want to be a loser like Father. I'll be loyal to you. I will be a virgin because sex is sinful and will lead to unholiness. I will not become like Brother. I will stay away from married, whore-like women. I washed his sins away, and he saw the light and paid his penance out in the woods. A farm brush fire covered that accident nicely. I'll become a powerful female, just like you, Mother, and dance under the light of the cemetery's full moon. I will help women see the rights of their wrongs. I will show you, Mother, by being the good girl you always wanted. It's just like dressing a deer. Hang the body by the Achilles tendons. 51-year-old Eleanor Adams, you were the first I rescued from the cemetery after your burial. Fresh dirt, easy dig. 15-year-old Evelyn Hartley, you didn't struggle too much, but I did have to pry open the windows with a bar to rescue you. Begin cutting through the skin at the base of the body's skull. Cut around neck, then down towards breast, but around them to save them. Cut all the way down to the private parts. I'll use them for later. 54-year-old Mary Hogan, you foul-mouthed, crude bar bitch. You were one of the ones that Mother warned me about. You looked a lot like Mother. It's too bad you weren't as virtuous. Someone will surely take over your bar for you. Begin pulling skin off the head, and then the neck, and shoulders. Be careful not to rip and ruin the face. 58-year-old Miss Bernice Warden. I stopped into your hardware store to ask about the price of antifreeze yesterday. A nice lady like you should be taken care of by her son. But I will take care of you from now on. Just under the jaw, cut the ligaments to loosen the connective tissue around the neck. I need to twist the head sharply to break the neck and remove the head completely.
Good evening. This is Dorothy Fulltime reporting from NBC. Today, November 17th, 1957, in Plainfield, Wisconsin, Edward Theodore Gain, 51, was arrested for the murder of 58-year-old hardware store owner Bernice Worden. Please be advised that this may be hard to hear. Mrs. Worden's body was found in Gain's shed, hung by her legs with a crossbar at her ankles and ropes at her wrists and her torso dressed out like a deer. She had been shot with a rifle from her store. Searching the Gain residence, authorities found Bernice Worden's entire head in a burlap sack and her heart in a plastic bag in front of Gain's potbelly stove. Mary Hogan's face mask in a paper bag and her skull in a box. Whole human bones and fragments, female skulls with the tops sewed off, some placed on his bedpost, and some made into bowls. A wastebasket and chairs made of human skin. A corset, leggings, and face masks made from female skin. Fingernails from female fingers. Female genitalia in a shoebox, judged to have been about 15 years old. A belt made from human nipples. A lampshade made from the skin of a human face. When questioned, Geen told investigators that between 1952 and 1957, he made as many as 40 nocturnal visits to graveyards to exhume recently buried bodies while in a dazed-like state. Geen admitted to stealing from 9 graves, but denied having sex with the bodies he exhumed, explaining, quote, "They smelled too bad." Geen's violence was reportedly only directed towards women who resembled his mother. The townspeople of Plainfield are in shock, and some are expressing concern that their loved ones are among those who have been exhumed. Geen is scheduled for trial on November 21st in Bashara County Court. We will have updates as they come in. Stay safe and hold your loved ones close. Good night.
Welcome. A beauty, isn't she? We call this one Nellie. What you're seeing is one of the rail cars from the New England Limited, part of a luxury passenger train that first left out of Boston, Summer Street Station, March 16th, 1891. The New England Limited had 2 such trains traveling between Boston and New York every day on a 6-hour journey through Eastern Connecticut, New Haven, and Greenwich. The Boston train traveled through Massachusetts all the way into Connecticut with no stops until it arrived in Willimantic to take on a new engine. Its next stop would be Middleton to replenish coal supplies and take on passengers, finishing its journey in Grand Central Station, New York. This train made the journey faster than any other. So go aboard.
I'm Nellie. I am a luxury passenger train that traveled between New York and Boston daily back in the day. I was elegant. I was smooth. And I was fast. I was painted white on the outside and the inside trimmed with gold. As I traveled down the tracks at night, the locals would say, "There goes the ghost train." It was the 1890s, the Gilded Age, a great time for the wealthy, and they wanted luxury travel, and I fulfilled all of their wishes. My cars were heated with steam. Gas lights lit my cars up. People would stand in line just to look at me. Can you believe that? But my dining car, it was carpeted in white velvet carpeting. My windows had white silk curtains. Mirrors lined my wall. The chairs were upholstered in plush white and gold fabric. The place settings and the china gleamed in their whiteness. The crew was dressed in white. Even the charcoal for the stove was whitewashed for appearances. But the best was the food. We served baked striped bass with an Italian sauce, roasted spring lamb, ribs of beef, so good, sauteed chicken with mushrooms. We served local vegetables when they were available. We served salads. We served oyster salad. We served turnip salad. And we served tomato gelée. But the best was the desserts. They were rich, they were decadent, and the variety was so good, so many, so delicious. We also served the best wine and liquor available. But at last, it didn't last. Within 4 years, the cost of keeping me white on the inside and the out became prohibitive. The number of wealthy passengers diminished. Faster, less expensive trains were available to the general public. So they sat me in the back of the rail yard. And here I sit with just my memories of my glory days as the ghost train.
Fortunato has hurt me 1,000 times, and I have suffered quietly. But when I learned that he had laughed at my proud name, Montresor, the name of an old and honored family, I promised myself that I would make him pay. For no one provokes me with impunity. But Fortunato must be made to know that he is paying, and who is forcing him to pay. He has one great weakness. He likes to drink good wine. And so, I have bought the best that I could find. That will give me my revenge!
Montresor!
Fortunato, how are you? My dear Fortunato, I'm so glad to see you. I have just been tasting my new wine. A full cask of a fine wine which they tell me is Amontillado.
Amontillado! Impossible!
I know, it does not seem possible. But since I could not find you, I was just going to talk to Lucrezi, the wine expert. If anyone understands wines, it is Lucrezi.
Lucrezi! He does not know one wine from the other.
But they say he knows as much about fine wines as you do, my friend.
Come, let us go.
Go where?
To your vaults, to taste the new wine.
No, my friend, no. I can see you are not well. And the vaults are cold and wet.
Oh, it is nothing. We shall go. Amontillado. Ah, Lucrezi. Lucrezi knows nothing about wine. Nothing at all about wine.
Be careful, Fortunato. They are about to enter the final resting place of the departed Montresor family. Here, too, is where we keep our finest wines in the cool darkness underground.
Slower, my friend, slower. My lantern, it grows weak.
Here, Fortunato. Drink this fine Medoc. It will help to keep you warm. Drink.
Thank you, my good friend. I drink to the dead who lie sleeping around us.
And I, Fortunato, I drink to your long life.
A very fine wine indeed. Yeah, but the Amontillado.
It is farther on. Come.
Your vaults, they are so many and so vast. It seems like they go on without end.
We are a great family, and an old one. Once, there were many of us. It is not far now, but I can see you are trembling with the cold. Come, let us go back before it is too late.
Oh, I shall go on. But first, another drink of your fine Medoc.
If you insist. The Amontillado is in there. Go on. Go in. Fortunato, put your hand against the wall. You can feel how the water runs down it. Once more I ask you, please, will you not go back? No? If not, then I must leave you. First, I must do everything I can for you.
But the Amontillado?
Ah, yes, indeed. The Amontillado.
Montresor, what are you doing? Montresor, very funny joke, very funny joke indeed. Many times we will laugh about this, as we drink our wine together.
Yes, of course. As we drink the Amontillado.
Montresor, it is getting late. They will be expecting us. Let us go.
Yes, let us go.
Montresor, for the love of God.
Yes, for the love of God. Fortunato! For half a century, no human hand has touched these. Requiescat in pace. May he rest in peace.
Okay, everyone, let's get started. This is the last opportunity for you to finish up the paintings that you've been working on for the past 2 weeks. So tonight I'm going to come around, I'm going to give you some critique, and then we can finally let our very patient model move on to a different pose. All right, Sam, let's see how you're doing. Wonderful, Sam. May I? Oh, I really appreciate your bold use of color. A great way to work with that blending and shading the white around the model so that she stays the center of the composition. Well done.
Thank you, Professor.
Beverly. Oh, this is so serene. May I? Wow, Beverly. This interpretation is really projecting a sense of peace and tranquility. Tell me, Beverly, was it your intention to depict your model in a dreamlike state?
Why, yes, Professor, it was.
Wonderful. Simply stunning.
Thank you very much, Professor.
You know,
I do so appreciate the way that each student can take the same scene and translate it onto their canvas, with each one being unique but still telling the same story. You know, I think painting is the silence of thought, music of sight. And it reminds me that Van Gogh once said, "I dream of painting and then I paint my dreams." And you, Henry, how are you doing? Okay, I see where your composition started, but the focus of this class is to paint what you see, not to improvise.
I know that. I see what's in front of me, but when I pick up a brush and put it to canvas, this is what happens.
Okay. Well, as I say though, the point is not to improvise, it's to recreate realism, the light, the beautiful moment.
I've been working on this non-stop, and this still keeps happening. I can't sleep, and when I do sleep, I see it in my nightmares. I sit to work and light becomes dark. It's exhausting. It's like someone's watching me, taking over, seeping from the brush to the paint and onto the canvas. It scares the shit out of me, and I can't control it.
Well, Henry, every artist dips his brush into his own soul and paints his very nature into his work, so this is quite concerning. Where do you see this kind of darkness here?
It's physically me, Henry, painting, but something else comes out when I paint. Something or someone sinister.
What is this? Is this a gargoyle?
It's the darkness that's compressing me. The demon overcoming me with each stroke. I need to finish the painting.
And what about this? Is it a stallion?
It's a mare. The nightmare. I can't explain what comes over me when I paint. All I can see for our future is a nightmare. This world is a nightmare. Each and every one of us has that pressing heaviness on our chests, our hearts, our minds, and will eventually do ourselves and the world as we know it in. It's all coming true. Darkness.
Class dismissed.